Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden.
Where we continue to follow the capture and killing of Osama bin Laden now.
Those are just some of the scenes overnight as thousands of Americans gathered in celebration of Osama bin Laden's death.
Former Navy SEAL Rob O'Neill says he has thought about the mission every day since that May Day in 2011.
For multiple conversations you had with Rob O'Neill over the past year and a half, how'd you get
access? And you described that his head kind of exploded when you hit him.
I actually hit him 3 times because I shot him twice when he was standing and once on the ground.
That is the fucking American badass right there.
Go, go, go. We are not going for fame and we are not going for bravado. We are going for the single mom who dropped her kids off at elementary school on a Tuesday morning, and then 45 minutes later she jumped to her death out of a skyscraper.
If you need help, hang up and then dial your operator.
I'm Rob O'Neill, and this is the Operator Podcast. This is going to be fun. Welcome back to the Operator Podcast. I called Tommy O, my brother in Montana, who's a DJ, which is great, last minute and said, hey, man, do you want to talk about stuff today? And so he said yes. So we're going to talk about a fun anniversary, St. Patrick's Day in Butte, Montana, which is a hoot. You wouldn't think that, but it's got a big one there. If you haven't been to Butte, Montana for St. Patty's Day, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. So, just have a back and forth conversation. Tommy always inspires fun in me. But first I want to talk about one of my sponsors today. The best way to learn a foreign language is obviously immersion. Live somewhere where they speak nothing but the language. That's the best way. But if that's not in the cards, the second best way you can learn a language is with Babbel. You can be better in 2024 with Babbel, the science-backed language learning app that actually works. You don't need to pay hundreds of dollars for private tutors or waste hours on apps that don't really help you speak the language. Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons are handcrafted by over 200 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Babbel's designed for real people, for real conversations. Babbel's tips and tools are approachable, accessible, rooted in real-life situations, which is very important, and delivered with conversation-based learning, so you're ready to practice what you've learned in the real world. That's like going somewhere and even making an attempt to speak the language is good for the locals. Even though most people speak English, for some reason Americans don't. This is a quick and easy way. And that they've helped me in real life. One of my daughters is speaking French, so I'm trying to learn French, and I've learned Babbel's awesome. C'est simple et juste. But studies from Yale, Michigan State University, and others continue to prove Babbel is better. One study found that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a full semester at college. That's awesome. Babbel has over 16 million subscriptions sold. Plus, all of Babbel's 14 award-winning language courses are backed by their 20-day money-back guarantee. You really should try this. It's incredible. You're going to learn it. And here is a special limited-time deal just for listeners of this program. Right now, you'll get 55% off your Babbel subscription, but only for listeners to this show at Babbel.com/operator. So get 55% off at Babbel.com/operator. That is spelled BABBEL.com/operator. Rules and restrictions may apply, but these are awesome courses. You're going to learn how to have conversations, if you will, in a matter of days. So go check out Babbel.com/operator. What I like about hosting the Operator Podcast is I can tell you stories about what happens in special operations that I know, and sometimes stuff that I don't know. I do want to tell you about this. We had a thing called Zodiac ass or baboon ass, and with that, it comes from riding on a Zodiac, those inflatable boats where you're bouncing across the sea and your ass is on the side of the Zodiac. Eventually you get Zodiac ass. And this is like it's nasty. It smells BO like you read about. It's uncomfortable, but you can get rid of it. I just started using Mando deodorant, the whole body deodorant. Mando is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body, and it smells amazing. It's safe to use anywhere. Pits, package, nuts and grundle, if you don't know what that is. Belly buttons, butt cracks. stinky crevices, stomach folds, feet, all that stuff. It's created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal body odor was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Mando whole body deodorant is powerful enough for the toughest body odor, but gentle enough to use anywhere, allowing you to put it on anything you got. Family jewels, you don't need to worry about it. Here's what's cool about it. It's cruelty-free, aluminum-free, baking soda-free, it's dye-free, and it's vegan. Clinically proven to control body odor better than a shower with soap alone. 12 hours after shower, the average man's grundle odor is about a 5 out of 10. This is scientific. With Mando, it is 0 out of 10. And the smell of the Smooth Solid Mount Fuji deodorant that I'm holding right here, I used it, and it immediately, the smell caught my wife's attention, and she just said, I need to wear this anytime she's around. And she was happy to know that I also got the cleansing bar, or soap to the layperson. Same taste, God forbid. Same scent. It's gorgeous. And now that I've used Mando, I'm not going to use anything else. All of their products. It's the scent of confidence. It's incredible. Mando's starter pack is perfect for you if you're a new customer. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, good for anywhere, 2 free products of your choice. I went with the body wash and the deodorant wipes. You do you, but you'll get free shipping. And luckily, I have a discount code to help you get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers will get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off of your starter pack. Use code THEOPERATOR at shopmando.com. shopmando.com. So go to shopmando.com, and with code THEOPERATOR, you're going to get $5 off. Like I said, that's more than 40% off your starter kit. Totally worth it. You will be impressed. Go smell really good. Get rid of that swamp ass, Zodiac ass, or baboon ass, whatever we called it. Shopmando.com. shopmando.com. Use code THEOPERATOR for a discount. Like I said, a special guest because I've been boring lately. So I had Tommy O'Neill show up. Tommy O's back on, my brother from Butte, Montana. How goes it up there, Tommy?
Just beautiful, just gorgeous. Beautiful spring day. We survived St. Patrick's Day. Everyone's not in jail, so it's great. Things are beautiful.
Butte, Montana. Now, I wanted to more talk about it at the end because I want to end on something upbeat. But can you explain a little bit about St. Patty's Day is epic in Butte, Montana.
Oh, it's crazy. It's it's a mining town, and they don't really need an excuse to go out and party. But St. Patrick's Day is a good one. Butte celebrates 2 days. You have St. Euros Day the night before, which, as we all know, the day that the patron saint of Finland threw all the grasshoppers out of Finland. Again, a reason to drink. It's usually rain or shine. It will go on. This year it was sunny and about 60 degrees, so the whole uptown area was just crazy.
And the uptown area it's getting built up. Is that true?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on up there. There's a new Irish pub went in up there. It is getting a little more revitalized once. You as you and I know, around the early 80s when the pits or the mines really closed down, uptown really took a hit, and the whole town did. But
right around that time too, speaking of taking a hit, we actually got hit with Mount St. Helens over in Montana.
Yeah, our mom would let us go out and play in the ash. Remember that?
I know. What the hell's her problem? We had to go to Mr. Lunny's, the retired cop, and get a cigarette from him.
Yeah, I know. We had to jump over that roof, and
he literally Mr. Lunny gave me a cigarette when I was about 6 years old. Seriously, because I didn't have a punk to light my firework. Whatever. I mean, with the fireworks you have at that age are the snakes and a friggin' sparkler. And I didn't have a punk, and so he gave me a cigarette, and that's okay. In 1982 or something.
He wasn't giving you that cigarette to light fireworks. He was expecting you to take a drag and add it back to him, I think.
Well, he thought I'd split my whiskey with him. But yeah,
you all learn the hard way sometimes.
Yeah, that was what was it? We had now I don't even remember this, but we had a shooting right next door at the Lunny's house, right?
There was, yeah. It was in it was I think early 1980. Yeah, there was a shootout with the police with one of his kids actually kind of had a bad break, I understand, and got into the bottle a little bit and started shooting at the hospital, and then the police. Yeah, it was a weird. I mean, I was young as well, but what a weird thing to take through life with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I know from experience, you hit the bottle, the cops might just show up.
Things happen sometimes. Things just
Well, like there were still bullet holes because so they're next to our house with a big red house, and they had the green like a green awning and an A-frame type house. And there were bullet holes right underneath the window because now I remember being impressed as a kid because, oh, look at that. The police snipers were shooting. But then you realize, dude, he's shooting from 100 yards. You can't hit the guy without 8 shots. What everyone's just trying to get. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not judging because I technically wasn't there shooting. So there's that.
Yeah, you were real young.
Yeah. And we had to go up to the Marinovich's house.
Yeah, we had to evacuate out we had that rental house in the back that they had with that the porch that was all wooden. They had the wooden banister there, and the exchange students from Venezuela who didn't speak English couldn't figure out why all the people were. They didn't have a phone. They had no idea what was going on.
That was Jose and Maria.
He's a gunshot, so
Yeah, well, because when I was little, I used to go over to try to get Jose. He's going to Montana Tech, and I used to go over there because I wanted to shovel the walks because I'm 4 or 5. And he said, because I just walked in the house and 2 college kids from Venezuela, and I don't know what a hangover is. So I said, we got to go shovel the sidewalk. And the last thing you want to do at 5 a.m. is shovel a sidewalk with the neighbor's kids. But he said, I can't, Robbie, I can't find my boots. So I ran around his house, found his boots, and brought them to him. That motherfucker went out and shoveled snow with me. Isn't that awesome?
I bet he just loved you. That's Montana winter, but
little different than Venezuela.
A little bit.
So, yeah, but the St. Patty's Day just happened. That's good to hear that Butte opened another Irish bar. They need another bar in Butte. Where do they open it?
It's right across from Maloney's, the other Irish bar.
Yeah, the other one, right next to the Party Palace.
Sean O'Donnell's, I think it's called. Yeah, Sean O'Donnell's. It's
cool.
It's I've not yet been there. I've heard nothing but good things though. So that's they serve traditional Irish fare. They got corned beef and cabbage every day and fish and chips. So
that's good. Cool. And then Tim Montana told me the Wise River Club didn't exactly get a big showing, just because everyone's in Butte. And it's it's a 30-minute drive sort of to the Wise River Club, but that's good. It's good for Tim. I saw videos of him walking around. He's getting famous up there, and it's good to see how he treats everyone really well.
He's really personable. I mean, he loves what he's doing up there, and he's just he's such an easy person to talk to. He loves what he's doing. He loves the club. I mean, and it's a great place up there. I mean, right?
The Wise River Club is awesome, and I love the idea of the upstairs hotel that like you see in the old westerns where it's like a brothel. You got the rooms, and there's one shared toilet and one shared shower, but like it's peaceful. The river's outside, the dining room's downstairs, the bar's downstairs. You got Kyle Reif playing live music every night because what else is he gonna do?
All right, that's awesome.
But yeah, I want to mention a couple. I have a funny St. Patty's Day story I'm going to save for the end because I kind of want to dive into a couple. They're not. I mean, nothing real time, real important. But okay. Here's what I want to ask about because I did mention that you're a DJ.
Yes.
And then what I like though is what is the newsletter you write every day? Is it one?
We put out 2 articles a day.
Do you write them?
Yeah.
What are they about?
Just anything, things that are going on. Maybe look at some of the best things about the town or some of the not so great things. It all depends, kind of.
That's cool though. Is it like just local stuff or worldwide stuff or stupid news or what is it?
It's through Town Square Media, but we focus here in Butte on just Butte primarily, but all of Montana.
Can people listening can they find it somewhere?
Am I online? Yes. 925kaar.com, and you can also download the Car FM app, for which I'll get points if you do.
Okay, hang on. 925kaar.com.
Yeah. I'm on in the mornings from 6 to 9 a.m. Mountain.
Oh, you got to go listen. Tom got famous up there for the kids' lunch menu, and I remember that growing up. I remember that growing up that they would announce what's for hot lunch, and the best day was what?
Beef Olay.
Beef Olay. I've been I've been cooking a lot and crock pot and desserts, and I'm going to make beef fillet because it's got to be Fritos and Hamburger Helper.
Preferably, yeah. Fritos are the key. And
oh yeah.
Usually cheese that is issued from the government is best, but
there was
words, you know,
the time you went to Ramsey and had the kids in the, because we all remember as kids in the lunchroom how loud it was, and you had the kid beef, and you like did a shitty mix version. I love that. Can you find that for me?
Rest his soul.
Yeah, man, he was awesome. That was so that's what kind of got the lunch menu was your thing, and then yeah, it's great. Yeah, well, so 925 KAR. Sorry, 925KAAR.com.
There you go.
And then if they download the app.
Oh, the app, yes.
But I mean,
you get the stories and audio that way.
You'll get credit for that?
Oh, yeah.
All right. I need everyone listening from New Zealand to Europe, New Zealand to the UK. Download that app, 95 KAR FM, KAAR. Right.
This is really cool because I just had a meeting with my two bosses just today, and I can go back tomorrow, and they're going to be shocked, and then I could just
do me a favor. I think New Zealand might be the furthest away, or is it farthest away? It's a long goddamn. It's around the world. If anyone listening in New Zealand can download that, you'd give me. I need cool points with my brother. He still beats me up. Tom needs cool points at work because I'm not going to say why.
Well, yeah.
No, that's cool. You do that. That's what I wanted to sort of talk about today. Just some, the politics of everything sucks.
We're getting the band.
Well, what I want to hear about is your band.
High or Road.
Because you do make memes too on the Real Tommy. You're not on Instagram enough. I send you funny shit all the time, and you don't respond. Did you check the gram or not?
Once I don't think I really understand Instagram like I should, but
man, it's pictures and like it's got an algorithm like you. Okay, you look at one picture of a butthole, a bunch of pictures of buttholes come up in your feed.
What
just
happens
saying.
when you look at like 7 pictures of buttholes?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think you used to run one of my websites, one of my Instagrams, and Jessica took it over, and her algorithm was basically pornography for a while.
So that wasn't a good thing. I'm taking it.
Well, as long as I can blame you, everything's fine.
Yeah.
But because higher
it's like pornography. I thought I was ordering on Amazon, but
yeah. That's why I hold my phone up with one hand so much. But Higher Road, because you make memes about Higher Road. It's like nobody gets
it. Not that good to begin with,
They're fucking awesome. You kidding me? But I bring that up because I have guitars behind me, and you already yelled at me by the way they're stacked.
Yeah, they're just stored horribly.
Yeah, I know. And those are signed by Hall of Fame bands. Dave Mason from Traffic is this one, and then the other one is No Shit, signed by every member of the Rolling Stones signed the other one. And they're just sitting there. I put them closer together because that's the most action they've ever had in this room. But that's just funny shit right there.
That's way more Rolling Stone signatures than I have in my room.
Indeed. Okay. So before we get because we're talking about rock and roll, we're going to get into some rock and roll stuff in a bit. That's funny, but like what I want to talk to, because you and I have a tendency to start talking, and I don't think either one of us is necessarily crazy, but we seem to get on the same topics. We were talking about the subway stuff in New York City.
Oh yeah.
So allegedly, and I haven't read up on it in a while. I got really busy before this interview. That's why I had to delay it. Can I interject myself for a second?
Sure.
I have a new member of my family, and she's 3 weeks old, and we had an incident at home where, the only way I'll say is one of us pooped our pants really bad, and then needed a bath, and that has been me before. But today it was her, and her name is Valor, and Valor doesn't necessarily love baths until now. She does now, but we had to get her nice and clean, and it calms the baby down. But that's what I was doing before that. But you got to come down here and meet her too.
Yeah, I've just seen the videos of her. We got.
She's awesome.
Yeah,
she's gonna be a ginger.
Is she?
Yeah.
She looks really dark hair. I think. But
it might change too. I mean, it's dark, but it's red and Jessica's like, is her hairline gonna always look like Dad's? I'm like, first of all, fuck you. Second of all, no, she's a girl. It's gonna grow in, and she'll be fine.
It should be bad. Yeah, she's gonna be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Redhead though. Okay, all right. I mean, I can see it.
Yeah, but it's fine. And just to get out here, there are direct flights out of Bozeman. Well, that's one of the reasons that Butte got popular, because Bozeman got popular because of Yellowstone.
Oh yeah.
And then in Butte they filmed, what's it called? 1920. What's the one they filmed there?
1923 with Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Did they stop making that?
Well, they had the writer's strike, and a lot of stuff happened. And as I understand, they're coming back. And I know that before they were using the Butte Civic Center as sort of their main production headquarters, and that hasn't been re-upped. But who knows? Who knows how those Hollywood people do things? But from what I've heard,
yeah, that's that's a lot of people. If you have a writer's strike, I know that affected a lot of people. And especially after COVID or the lockdown. Sorry, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Then the writer's strike, that does suck. I hope they come back though, because I think that's the reason the Butte, Montana started to get built up. I know when I went up there in December to film for Black Buffalo, a lot of new stuff, a lot of cool stuff, and they managed to keep the number of meth heads rocking and rolling, but they made nice buildings.
They're out there, but that Yellowstone's definitely brought a lot of people to being located between Bozeman and Missoula. I mean, we're seeing an influx. I mean, we're seeing higher prices. I know that. I don't know if that's all tourism related or otherwise, but property prices are going sky high.
No, these are when the people that want to leave blue states that have money move to Montana. The problem is they bring their blue votes with them.
Yeah.
Because they could be like, well, Democrats fucked everything up in the last city, but they'll do fine here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's getting interesting. Votes in Montana. I noticed because John Tester is a senator from Montana, Democrat, and he likes to say what a blue collar, hard working, just like, Joe Biden, whatever. But he goes to Washington and has no interest in Montana. It's all about what Chuck Schumer wants, because the Democrats are really good at playing politics. And if you're not in lockstep with the Democrats, you're not going to you're going to lose your primary. And they all know that. And the senators and Congress men or women who've been there for 50 years are going to make sure, because they play power that, well, Democrats are really good at it. But Tester's in a fight now with Navy SEAL, right?
But and they're trying to label him in Montana as a carpetbagger because he's not from Montana. And then there's I know that Matt Rosendale was he was in, then he was out. He didn't get Trump's endorsement. So there's a lot of stuff that makes my head.
When you can't quite get the endorsement, it means the other party has some dirt on you. And I've been there, I've seen it, and there's a bar called Bull Feathers in DC, and it's right by the Republican Club. And the cameras are everywhere. And so dudes get in trouble, and all of a sudden get the nod, because I'm not going to run for office because they've already found dirt on me. I can't imagine what they find when they actually look. I'm delivering shit on a platter to them.
Well, that's the problem. But does that have anything to do with the issues? No, absolutely not.
No, but see, they don't care, because prime example right now. Donald Trump said that if Joe Biden wins, the car industry will turn into a bloodbath because of China, because Joe Biden's in bed with China, but then the Democrats spin that and all of a sudden start showing Klan rallies. Trump said if we don't win, he doesn't win, it's a bloodbath. The problem with that, though, is that enough people read it enough times, they believe it. And I think they're too lazy to realize that the media, for the most part, is all leftists. But here's how good they are at lying. You ever heard the Democrats say, well, the right-wing media, okay. The right-wing media, like, let's see, the Washington Post, New York Times, Miami Herald, Chicago Tribune, the LA Times, the NBC, MSNBC, CNN, those are all leftists. You got Fox News sometimes, depending on what part of the election cycle it is, because, Arizona's done. Fuck that. But also you know, they're obviously playing the algorithm game, but it's not a right-wing media. It's a left-wing media. And the problem out there is that's just New York and just DC. And they spin this out to people through the AP. And we got good people, some of them in the Midwest, that think they're Democrats and they believe like there are look, here's what I tell people. If you're worried that you might be stupid, keep this in mind. There are people out there that watch The View every day of the week. Right. And that's labeled as a news show. And again, I personally am a Whoopi Goldberg fan and a Joy Behar fan. I don't know the other women, but I mean, if you're getting your politics from that shit.
Well, we're not interested in facts. I mean, we want sound bites. We want something that looks good. We want page views.
Clicks. You want clicks, man. You do
not. Media whores like me. We want you to download our app.
No, that's fun though. We're legit. That's honest stuff. If you need real news, get the 92.5 Car FM app. KARR. I keep fucking that up. That was like the time we fucked up KMSMFM.com. Easy for me to say.
I mean, but one wrong keystroke on the internet and who knows what's happening.
You don't need to tell the truth. You just need to be first. That's all they give a shit about. And you'll notice too that the bombshell is on the front page and then the apology is on like page 12. And nobody cares.
The way that the news is even presented, I'm looking at it just from my side. Things like Newsmax, and they're. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad organization or a bad idea, but it's very sensationalistic a lot of times. And they love leading with nuclear war stories, which is very dangerous. You don't. I mean, we're taking sound bites out of Putin's speech, we're highlighting that and we're using that as a headline. I don't know. I mean, it's bad karma, man. I don't like it.
Fear sells. If you've noticed and I'm talking to everybody, if you've noticed, as long as you've been alive, there has either been a war or a fear of war. And that, man, keeps the military-industrial complex just turning and burning. It's like we can't. I mean, the only time we didn't start a new war was when Donald Trump was in office. That's also the only of the last 4 presidents that Putin didn't invade Ukraine. Yeah. And not going to war, but like walk softly and carry a big stick is called deterrence. And a prime example was when Donald Trump killed Qasem Soleimani, who was the head of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. And that mission was so badass. The drone took off from the same airfield that he landed, like zip and zam. And Iran being Iran, and I say Iran on purpose, by the way, you're supposed to say Iran, but they yelled at some people. So I'm like, fuck it, it's Iran now. And I won't call it the Persian Gulf. It's now the Arabian Gulf. Anyway, after that happened, the Iranians started flipping out, saying, well, we're going to retaliate. We're going to retaliate. And Trump said, that, more or less, okay, I'm going to destroy all your ports and kill your oil fields. So don't do anything. And they didn't. And that's that simple. Just saying that's a whole, but now we're in a position, and people don't like to hear this. Speaking of Ukraine, listen to my morbid theory on this. That's a war that Russia cannot lose. And I don't mean can't lose for their sake. They can't lose it. They have too many assets and too many people to fight a war of attrition. So basically what Ukraine has is a choice of we'll just stop here, let them keep the land they took, or let them destroy the whole country and rule over the ashes. And that's all they have. And the shitty thing about that is Russia will not have beaten Ukraine. They will have beaten NATO. And NATO is there to beat Russia. And Ukraine's not even a NATO partner.
No, they're not even a member.
Yeah, but this is what happens when you get dipshits like that. They call them war hawks that have never left the skiff, that love war and, don't get me wrong. When you use a Hellfire missile in combat to kill the enemy, you love that engineer. But the constant contracts of money and this and waste, and the Pentagon's never passed an audit. They don't even know how much they spend. But that war, the problem is Russia wins, and that's just a whole. I don't want to go down that road right now.
Yeah, that's.
Well, how about this? Speaking of information. And part of the, what's your thoughts on TikTok?
Again, it seems very, I don't know if it's TikTok or if more Twitter, but there's so much violence on a daily basis. So much, and a lot of these cases are being, I don't know if they're being, broadcast because of TikTok with that as a motivating factor. But I mean, we're seeing a lot of girls and a lot of women getting beat up. A lot of people, a lot of sucker punches, a lot of race on race things happening. I don't know if that's part of the end game or
no, that's part of the beginning of it. TikTok is made by the Chinese Communist Party, and and even they say their CEO's from Singapore. He's not saying the truth, and it's designed like there's a completely different algorithm in China for their kids than there is for the United States, and they are seeing what you click on, and they're throwing in. It's like we were talking about the buttholes earlier. You look at enough buttholes, you get buttholes. But they do want they're fighting us from the inside. They're trying to beat us from the inside, and they know like divide and conquer is not a myth. And what they're doing is they purposely show you the black guy beating up the white guy, or the white guy shooting the black guy, and you'll see it. But the more you click on the opposite, the ones that were, let's say your race isn't involved, you're going to get more of those. So it pisses you off. So now you're hating your neighbor. That's what they're trying to do, and it is in the algorithm. And it's dangerous, but Facebook's dangerous, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not like Facebook's out there pumping out the truth either.
No, I mean that's a problem. That's where a lot of people are getting their news is online. It's from social media sites.
Yeah. Well, it's a huge problem. Well, the big thing here is, I guess Congress just passed it overwhelmingly that TikTok will be banned in 6 months, or they can sell it to a U.S. company. And now,
I mean, here in Montana, Greg Gianforte banned it last year. But I mean, as for new accounts, if you had one, you're allowed to use it. But
well, I mean, I don't think
people are up in arms and businesses, because that's the way we advertise, and I mean, it's. I don't know.
Well, think about this, because the big thing is they're gathering your data, which your data gets gathered everywhere you go. I mean, when you go do clear at the airport and you put your fingers on the thing, like they have your data, and it's going into the, everyone's watching everywhere. Here's my conspiracy theory about this, though. The United States is looking for a company where investors can buy it, and they'll raise the billions to buy it, because now if the United States owns it, it doesn't mean that they're not gathering your data. It just means now they've gathered your data and they can prosecute you with it. This is potentially the biggest power grab since the Patriot Act, which sounded good on paper because they rely on fear. And I think Congress is trying to get more hands in there so they can send the dudes with suits over to your house and mark you as non-compliant when you don't give up your gun.
If it comes to that, I mean, or if another round of mandatory vaccinations is rolled out, or if everything goes to a moneyless system, or there's a lot of really weird conspiracy stuff that's only like 2 or 3 days away from happening almost.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, even with TikTok, I just did another round of DMT for addiction and for PTSD, and it really helps. And I was talking with the doctor about it, and she said, well, it's not legal because it works. And big pharmaceuticals would lose a lot of money on the pills. I mean, how many pills do you think the VA describes people with PTSD?
I had hundreds.
Yeah, and they don't help. And that's why. You want to believe
that medicine is that they're interested in the cure, but I mean, no, there's medicine and insurance are interested in money anymore.
I bet they could cure a lot of diseases that they're treating right now. I think some people get the medicine. Irvin Magic Jackson has had HIV since the 90s. I said that in jest. I love Magic. I've met Magic. He's awesome. And like we need to talk about that show too. But that was that dentist commercial where it was for like Topps cards.
For NBA hoops.
Yeah, and he goes, Irvin Magic Jackson. He's famous.
He's famous.
You said his name wrong. I need to pause for a moment and tell you about one of my sponsors, American Giant. Having a favorite piece of kit is one thing, but imagine having a closet full of your favorite clothes. We love options for different occasions, but having wear anywhere pieces full in your closet is a must. American Giant makes clothing that fits into your life seamlessly with quality you have to feel to believe, and you can feel it. And with an impressive selection of staples to choose from, there's something for everyone. So whether you're on the hunt for the perfect t-shirt, a solid pair of jeans, or super soft sweatshirts, American Giant has what you were looking for. I've had many pieces from American Giant for a while now, and they hold up. I mean, they are just as comfortable as when I took them out of the box the first time I wore them, and there is zero wear and tear on these things. It is really tough stuff. Every American Giant piece is designed to last, no exceptions. Find staples that are anywhere but basics, from hoodies to t-shirts to leggings, sweatpants, everything in between. My favorite is still my full zip hoodie. I love that thing. It's right here. I wear it every single day. That's worth visiting the website just to check that out. The iconic full zip hoodie, it's what started it all. There's sweaters with the comfort to match your favorite sweatshirt. The first yarn designed flannel made in the USA in decades. Perfectly fitting lightweight cotton joggers, broken in vintage feeling tanks, soft but structured classy sweatpants, simple classic everyday denim, all made in America. That's very important. Born from a commitment to support the communities that create its products. Keeping things local ensures quality, accountability, and transparency. And with a lot of stuff going on in the world right now, you want that. It's the kind of difference you'll feel and appreciate for years. Find a closet staple for every part of your spring days at American-Giant.com. And you'll get 20% off on your first order when you use code THEOPERATOR at checkout. So 20% off your first order, 20% off your first order at American-Giant.com. Use promo code THEOPERATOR for 20% off. American-Giant.com. The Operator Podcast is brought to you by BetterHelp. What would you do if you had an extra hour of every day? A lot of us spend our lives wishing we had more time. If you had more time, would you go for a run, take a nap, read a book, hang out with a friend? The best way to squeeze that special thing in your schedule is to know what's important to you and make it a priority. And therapy can help you with that. Talking to someone helps out. I mean, I've encountered some stuff that I've needed to talk about before. You don't need to be a combat vet to have PTSD. And sometimes you can learn about what's important, what's not important, and then most of your problems, you think your problems, are in your head, and that's how you can get more out of your day and in turn more out of your life. And BetterHelp is completely online therapy, and you can do it from home. All therapists are licensed, accredited professionals. BetterHelp allows you to connect with them in a safe and convenient online environment. Pay a low flat fee for unlimited therapy with your therapist. And therapy doesn't have to be expensive. Do it at your own time. Do it at your own pace. Communicate with your therapist as often as you want and whenever you feel it's needed. Thousands of people have benefited from therapy. Check out the reviews at the website. With BetterHelp, you can switch therapists at any point if you don't feel like you're getting enough benefit. If you're thinking about therapy, and you should, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Fill out a questionnaire, get matched with a therapist, and you can switch anytime at no charge. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/operator. Do that today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/operator. Get 10% off your first month. Well, okay, here's another one to talk about, Winning Time. I finally got back into that.
Oh, yeah.
It just ended.
I love it. Did you see both seasons?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The Celtics just won their title against them. There was more. Why did they stop it?
I think, well, I mean, you got people like it. The actors, the guy playing Urban Magic Jackson, they want more money next year.
I think they might have gotten too deep into some serious shit, and they're like, no, if you stop telling the story.
Los Angeles Lakers and Hollywood in the 1980s, that had to be a shit show. It had.
That's one of those. Yeah,
there's probably a lot of stuff that the NBA doesn't want just rolled out there.
Yeah, the Forum Club reminds me of Jamaica. Like, I don't like cocaine, but I love how it smells.
I imagine the Forum Club being like Bruce Billiards balls in 1991. Not a lot of dresses, not a lot of flash, but you can bet there's going to be a fight with a pool stick.
And you wanted to party with Dr. Buss. That guy.
Oh my goodness, that's yeah.
But I mean, they must. I mean, they got to, like, I was excited because I thought there was more seasons. The Celtics win, and it was 84, and then the show ends with like a recap, and then the Lakers went on to win when Boston won, blah blah blah. It's over, like, end.
Yeah.
But the first 2 seasons were incredible.
I loved it. No, that was one of the series we, Jessica and I would look forward to, every, it was like the old days when TV shows would come on. That was one of the shows
like Cheers. I remember watching that growing up.
Cheers.
Cosby Show, Family Ties, and Cheers. We can't say the Cosby Show anymore for some reason.
Yeah, it's
well, yeah,
you don't see a lot of those reruns anymore.
We had those VHS tapes at home, and like they would be labeled like the whole tape, 8 hours with the Cosby Show, Family Ties, Cheers, because it was on every Thursday night. And occasionally it would get interrupted, and all of a sudden you're watching a Boston Celtics game because you got your hands on the tape and hit record.
You guys never figured out what that little tab on the cassettes did?
No. Well, I did figure it out once I accidentally, I think, watched Deep Throat. You recorded or something like that.
Yeah.
One of those things.
It was labeled Cosby Show. And it wound up being Cosby.
It turned out. But the TikTok thing, and they got, well, who's behind that too is Steve Mnuchin, who was the former Treasury Secretary. He's a smart dude. But like if he's investing in buying TikTok, there's something behind. I've been to his house. I had dinner at his house one time. He's Treasury secretaries. I don't know if you ever met them. They're not exactly the life of the party, but he knows his stuff, and he reads the Wall Street Journal. So I guess I take him with that. The reason that I'm stopping in between, I normally keep my notes on this computer and I record on that computer, and that computer's for hunks with trunks. But but speaking of that, and we mentioned Jamaica. Have you been following what's going on in Haiti?
I don't believe so. What's happening there?
Well, Haiti has never been it's been a problem with violence for a long time. It got a lot of gang violence and corrupt police. I mean, that right there is it's like in the drug zone. So you're talking like Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, and then Cuba's over here, Jamaica's down here, and the boats go in there. I've actually purchased speedboats to take me from island to island. It's hilarious. They go fast, and faster than the ones we had in the Navy. But it's so easy for these drug runners to go into like local cops and basically cut them in or threaten them, and then the cops are in on the deal. So a lot of gang violence, but the president left for somewhere. I think he went somewhere to Africa, and then they just the gangs sort of took over, and they're being run by this dude named Barbecue. Yep.
Barbecue. Okay.
I said his whole name right there, Barbecue. And I guess that's for a number of reasons, but one of them is that apparently cannibalism is not bad if you cook them. But they're having shit all over the place. They're like we just evacuated, I think, 1,000 Americans. I think a congressman went down there to get people. I know guys that have had to go to Haiti to do that. And it's like there's bodies in the street and machete wielding gangs fighting each other. And Barbecue's trying to get them all to get along. And then they're going to set up shop in Haiti. And so they're on the same island as the Dominican Republic. And the Dominicans actually have a border wall. Call me crazy. Because they don't want bad actors coming into their country. So Dominican Republic's nice as shit. Haiti's a shithole now. And there's a border wall. But guess who doesn't have a border wall?
Well, I can take one guess.
Yeah, and guess, when we have all those dudes in a boat chugging towards Miami, we call that the Haitian vacation because it's on. And again, bad actors getting into Miami, you're going to see more of the bad shit. But we just let everyone in. And that's kind of the shit we're seeing in, there was a dude from Haiti that, just committed a heinous crime. I think last weekend. I didn't look it up. And again, I can't look on my porn computer because I don't want something to come up. But yeah, that's another issue because bad stuff's going on. Well, for some reason, we need to save everyone, even though it's not really our problem. But this lawlessness that comes with it, about New York, I was just down in New York and, the subway system. Do you know about that fight that happened, I think Friday?
No, I know that there have been several incidents in the subways. Friday was
bring one up.
Where the guy was shot with his own gun, right? Is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the video. And these two dudes are kind of squaring off. And black dude, a white dude, and both of them are kind of being cool, like they're squaring up, but we don't need to do this, blah blah blah. And they end up getting into it. Black dude gets on the white dude, he's beating him, and that's not the weird part because at that point it's kind of a fair fight. But a woman came up behind him and stabbed him.
Yeah,
and then he starts saying, "Did you just stab me? Did you stab me?" So he pulls a gun, and that's when the cameras leave, and then you can hear people screaming, "Let me out! Let me out!" You hear two shots go off, and the story that I got was. The black dude I think there's a black guy that got shot. And is he dead?
I don't think he's dead. I think he's in critical condition.
I thought he was in critical. Dead. But I mean, the whole thing is, okay. They put the National Guard down there, but they didn't give them their rifles and they acted like TSA. And so you're getting checked. Like they're not checking migrants who come in, but they're checking Americans, checking your bags or whatever, like the TSA does. But these clever criminals figured out, well, if I just put my gun in my pocket, they won't find it in my bag. Pretty smart, huh?
It probably works.
It did work. He got the gun on there and then got shot with it. So,
and he jumped he was a fair jumper too. He went through an exit.
Yeah, he did.
And they're saying that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing with they don't stop fair jumpers. The people that commit little crimes start to commit bigger crimes and
big crimes. Yeah, I mean, it could stop something.
Maybe.
I mean, it could stop one of those clowns from but we'll
But Catherine Hochul, the governor of the great state of New York, and she's a horrible person. She was saying how safe everything is now because of what she's done. And take a wild guess which show she said that on.
The View?
The View.
Oh, my goodness. What do I win? You win a free subway pass. No, thank you.
Yes. Well, thank God. Maybe I won't get shot with someone's pocket gun. But yeah, that's but then that's and then it was a couple months ago that a Marine, Daniel Penny, he got in an altercation.
And that's where he put the guy in a chokehold.
Yeah.
And that guy did die. And they want to charge him with manslaughter. Is that right?
Yeah. And the judge just denied the dismissal like in January. But here's a guy. So this dude, which is an odd story. The guy that died was a Michael Jackson interpreter, or he imitated an imitation artist. What do you call that?
Oh, yeah, impersonator.
Impersonator. Thank you. Jesus.
Michael Jackson. So he could use an interpreter as well, though. But, either one.
Did you watch that documentary about We Are the World?
Yeah,
that was awesome.
I love. Yeah, it was phenomenal.
I had no idea that Lionel Richie and Michael Jackson just wrote that, and then they had to record it in one night after the American Music Awards.
Yeah, when you see how it all came together with everyone being, in Los Angeles for the how big, especially like in 1985, pop culture was at its all-time high with, Thriller was out there. You had Hall & Oates. You had Pac-Man. You had Ronald Reagan. God bless America.
Hall & Oates. Yeah. Well, Ronald Reagan had a joke, and I'm just going off the top of my head here, where he said something like, on St. Patty's Day, he was giving a speech at a green tie. He's talking as the president of the United States, and he said, and St. Patrick was killed in 510, the year 510, and he said, leave it to the Irish. Only they could have a wake for 1,500 years. But yeah, I don't think Prince showed up though, did he?
No, they were talking to Sheila E. Remember that? She was
yeah.
They were kind of giving her we want you there because you're a great drummer. Yeah, I'm hoping that he
because as great as Prince was, I still think he was underrated. I think he was the best.
Oh yeah, watch I think it was the Hall of Fame inductions with
yes, when he just went off.
Danny Harrison, Tom Petty, Jeff Lynne, and then Prince just says, "Here, watch this." Pretty good
lineup there, and Prince just starts
and he's just
literally making the guitar gently weep.
Well, he did. I mean, even before even is real early, he did everything on it. He played every instrument. He was.
But that We Are the World, I didn't know. I thought with that many stars, I thought it'd be over the course of a few days, and like Bob Dylan's there, and he doesn't even know how to sing like this, and so they figured it out in the studio, and even Dylan was admitting that he's nervous, which is crazy because I think that there were so many stars there that like all the egos were checked at the door. Like, holy shit, there's Diana Ross, and oh my god, here's Gladys Knight. I think she was there, and then obviously, and then like Lionel Richie won like 7 AMAs that night and hosted.
Yeah, outrageous.
Lionel Richie's a badass, man. I think there was 2 comedians I thought of during that was I think Chris Rock said them both when he was talking about J-Lo a couple years ago, and he said, "Look, you might be the Commodores, but your ass is Lionel Richie." And then there was something about Minnesota that I think it was Chris Rock again in the 80s. He's like, man, the only 2 black people from Minnesota are Kirby Puckett and Prince.
Well, what I couldn't get out is they had it was Willie Nelson. It wasn't James Ingram, but it was one of the soul singers who had a few too many glasses of wine before the.
Yeah.
And you put Willie Nelson and anybody else at a table, and Willie's not the problem.
And the one with Huey Lewis, man, because he was a BDP back in the day, man, big dick player, and he had to do one with it was with Cyndi Lauper and then Karen from the Fleetwood Mac, Karen Frost, shit, but they couldn't fit.
Oh, Kim Carnes.
Kim Carnes. So, sorry, everyone. But yeah, they're trying to figure that out. And then Huey's nervous because he's got range, but he doesn't know how to harmonize. And the 3 of them are there, and Lionel Richie's like, just do it. And they did it. But the funniest part too is that if there's like a GIF on online where, because Michael Jackson's right next to him, he just did his part, and they're trying to harmonize. You just kind of see Michael give him the whole. But yeah, that was awesome. How did we get on that? What were we talking about right before? I don't remember. We talked the 80s and Prince, and
way off track.
We were talking about something in the 80s. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good documentary, I guess. That was I had a good segue into something else too, and I totally forgot what the hell I was talking about.
Oh, We Are the World. Wasn't that awesome?
Yeah. How did we get onto that? Let me, you know what I'm going to do here? No kidding. Is let's see. Can you still see me?
Yeah.
Good. Oh no, that's the wrong one. I'm just looking here. Let's see here what we got. Let's see. Yeah, I was trying to segue into something. We were talking about we're talking about the subways, and somehow we got onto We Are the World. Well, I guess, I mean, we can because of the subways and all that stuff. Yeah, but the judge got rid of it, and they're letting the migrants run wild. But since, I don't really want to get all political today. It's just I try to not, and I try to be positive, and it's just so hard watching some of the stuff that happens because I'm convinced people just don't pay attention. But speaking of music,
all right,
today is actually the 20th. And and we're looking up anniversaries, and I found one which I'm very excited to have you because I consider you to be a black belt in the Beatles.
All right.
Today, the 20th, is the anniversary of the day the Beatles died. And why do you think that is?
Was that when John married Yoko?
That's fucking when Yoko Ono married John Lennon, and that was it. And what's crazy is you have all these great albums before Yoko Ono. So John Lennon's got to be pushing 50, right? No.
Oh no, he was probably barely
29 years old. He was born in 1940.
29.
And he married Yoko, and I'm yeah, I mean, just I don't think any of the Beatles liked Yoko Ono. But can you tell me a story about John Lennon, Chuck Berry, and Yoko Ono? I love this story. It doesn't all need to be true, but can you tell it?
Well, from what I understand, is that there was a lawsuit that Chuck Berry filed against John Lennon. He stole, Sweet Little 16 or something. That doesn't even matter. But John Lennon more or less allowed that lawsuit to proceed just because he felt that Chuck Berry never got his, rightful share from all the stuff that he contributed to music. So, it goes on. Chuck Berry, of course, one of John Lennon's idols. They wind up on the same episode of the Michael Douglas show.
Yeah.
With Yoko. And John and Chuck had a chance to jam, and unfortunately somebody gave Yoko a mic. Yeah, that went about just as he thought it would.
The song they did was Come Together. and Lennon kind of stole the "Here Come Old Flat Top." He come grooving up slowly.
That's right. That's right.
But Chuck Berry had a song. I'm trying to find it that had that too. And so John Lennon, feeling like Chuck Berry deserved some of the royalties, like he needs you to sue me, and then he did. And then he's like, "Yeah, well, I gotta meet you," because he was crazy about him. Like I think they covered like 7 of Chuck Berry's songs. And
the early Beatles, yeah.
And
it's
like, can you imagine collaboration between Chuck Berry and John Lennon? Except there's one caveat. I'm bringing Yoko Ono.
You what?
Yeah. I mean, what didn't Dennis Leary say?
Douglas's producers would have stopped him and say, "John, come on."
Well, they had that weird sleep in where they stayed in bed to protest the Vietnam War, and then they couldn't get married and they couldn't get her in. So they got married in the Straits of Gibraltar. Yeah, Straits of Gibraltar right there, because he said it's British. There's plenty English, and there's nice people there or something like that. But he left Yoko Ono for like 3 years and went out to California with someone else. I forgot her name.
May Pang, I think was her name.
Yeah. Lennon was also unfaithful to Ono on a number of occasions. I wonder why. I mean, how could you walk away from someone that screeches like that, right? But you can find that video online with.
Oh, it's on there. Yeah, it's out there.
And what is Chuck Berry doing when Yoko starts screeching? It's horrible.
Just the skunk eye that he gives her. It just.
Well,
I like the.
But she like the Beatles hated her. She broke up the greatest band of all time. And he was 29 years old, but then he got she wouldn't let any of the Beatles or his kids come to. He didn't want a funeral, allegedly. We don't know, but she had, because he didn't like organized religion. That he didn't want a funeral. She just wanted 10 minutes of silence around the world, which is kind of cool if you can get that. And John Lennon, big, larger than life. And I guess John Lennon didn't want, like, it turned into a fanfare. Like, I guess Elvis Presley's funeral was just a shit show. And even one they had in honor in London turned into a bad idea. But out of the goodness of Yoko Ono's heart, who doesn't strike me as a good person, she had him actually cremated out here near in Hartsdale, New York. Which is kind of cool. Which, I mean, I kind of want to find that place and see it. It's that's a piece of history. I've been where he was killed.
Yeah, driving past the Dakota near Central Park, that just gives you a feeling. I don't know. There's something.
It gives me a feeling as how didn't Yoko Ono take one of those bullets? I've never met her, and I shouldn't be talking shit about her. It's just kind of. It's one of those.
I don't think you're the first person to talk shit about Yoko.
No. A lot of people in Liverpool don't like her. Since we're talking about the Beatles, can you tell me the story about the song in Role Models? Love, take me down.
Love, take me down to the street.
Yeah,
and I don't know who does that song.
We can find that out, but that was not a Paul McCartney song. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. No, but it wasn't. And some dude always shows. And so that dude shows up with a guitar that can barely play. He starts singing "Love, Take Me Down."
Every time someone brings up Paul McCartney, that's his first song they come to is "Love, Take Me Down to the Street."
And it's
not even a Paul McCartney song. It's a Paul McCartney impersonator that they hired.
Yeah,
brilliant. Well done.
"Love, Take Me Down." Yeah, to the streets. Let's see that right there. Well, I got the lyrics if you need me to sing it.
Yeah, it's about going and getting the damn hooker.
Yeah, but it's not a Paul McCartney song. They're saying even on here it was, but it's not. It's in Role Models by a tribute band. I watched one of my. I had to fly yesterday or the day before. One of my go-to movies, which I think is again underrated, is Rockstar.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that band, the tribute band, I don't know their name, but
Steel
the enemy.
Dragon.
No. Steel Dragon, everybody knows that. This is Kirk Cuddy from Steel. I played a band called Steel Dragon. No, I'm talking about the bad tribute band. Not the good one that Mark Wahlberg was in, the bad one that the lead singer took over because they whatever. That reminds me of Jeremy Scared in Butte, Montana. I'm telling you.
Oh, man.
They're way better. That's a great band. But speaking about like living in the 90s, like Jeremy Scared. When they just had they reunited recently up there, didn't they?
Last year, yeah, they got together for.
They're awesome.
Yeah, but they've been apart for like 15 years. I had 15 hard years, and they all got together. They don't all live here anymore either. So they had to, McLean had to come from Minnesota. So they finally all meet up, and they decide to go into it with absolutely zero practices.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't play guitar.
We'll get video online here. It was.
Oh,
all their original songs too. Stuff that nobody outside of Butte, Montana is really going to know. But it was good music.
They were really good, man. Like Tim Sullivan. I'm pretty sure he's so good that they can just jump on his back. He'll carry him through it.
He's
yeah.
awesome.
Can you get me links to their songs? Because I'll put them on this podcast. They're good.
Oh yeah, I'll find some.
And that was fun because they played at Brews Billiard Balls. That was an awesome bar.
Well, you had to have something going on between the pool stick fights.
Well, yeah. I went in there with your ID. I'll never forget. And it worked out pretty well, actually. Leo McCarthy was the bouncer, so it was fine. But I went in there with your ID, and it was to the point basically where, like, Butte, Montana, like Kelly was younger than me, and I think we all, like Mom, Dad, Chrissy, you might have been there. ID. Kelly, you're good. ID. What? But I went into Brews one time, and I was like, "Can I get 2 big shots of wild turkey?" And the bartender goes, "Yeah, do you want a chaser?" I'm like, "Yeah, 3 shots of wild turkey." And then a stick fight, 2 for the ditch or 3 for the road.
Yeah. The one band that's there when Jeremy Scared's not playing to an empty house, only 3 hecklers there, and you're one of them.
I think I was in the front row with Turcotte and Franich.
Yes.
And no one was dancing with Franich except the pool stick. It's kind of funny. So I mean, since we're on that, because I want to end on some funny stuff. I know we've talked about on this podcast before, but like, I want to hear from you a potential pregame, postgame at your old house, and you know the one I'm talking about.
Oh,
and then a good St. Patrick's Day story. Can you tell us about the Animal House?
The Animal House was. Oh, it was filthy. Doesn't even begin to. That doesn't scratch this. It was filthy, but it was filthy. It was a kind of filth that you couldn't just scrub off. It was. It was. Yeah, that was a place. We mentioned Brews. That was the place where Barney or Zahn would get on the microphone and just yell out the address, and people would show up there.
I remember Barney had a line one time, and Barney's just big mouth. He looks like the Hulk, except probably bigger, and he throws people around better than that. But this car full of girls walked in, and he closed the door and stood outside in front of it, and he's not letting the guys in, and they go, "But our girlfriends are in there," and he goes, "A lot of guys' girlfriends are in there." And then we went to Brews, and what would go down at Brews Billiard Balls?
Binge drinking. It was binge drinking was in all shapes and forms. They would put liquor on sale. They would give you the big 32-ounce things of beer for under $1.
That is right. They would do that.
Yeah.
Boy, that was a fun place.
Jeremy Scared, so they know people like us would show up.
Yeah, Brews, man, that's good shit. So, all right, give me I'll start with the St. Patty's Day story. We were up there with a crew one time. Tim Montana, I think, was playing somewhere. This is a couple years ago. I was out of the Navy though, and Tiny was with me.
Oh dear.
And he was on his way to meet us at Maloney's, but he ended up driving his truck into a hole in the ground up at Montana Tech, which isn't on the way. But I mean, I don't mean he hit a pothole. He drove it into a truck. And then he had to walk down the hill. His truck, like, we need like a serious tow truck, like something big to pull this out. Plus, Tiny weighs a ton. And then, he comes down and obviously sandblasts somebody to the point where the cops will say, "When are you guys leaving?" It's like, "Tomorrow." He goes, "Thank God. I mean, we love having you, but it looks like dinosaurs were walking up here," which explains the whole.
Yeah, that was a good trip, though. That was.
Yeah. You got any good ones from St. Patty's Day, recent or past, or anything you remember? The shanty.
It's one that's just so politically incorrect when you.
Oh man, people stuck around for this. Say it. If you don't get in trouble, I will.
Early in the '80s, again, we. St. Patrick's Day is always kind of a reunion, where it's like all like Thanksgiving. You see people that from class you haven't seen for years. We one year it's not even there anymore. It was called the Keyboard Club, and I'm sure that I hope its owners are proud. Do you even remember the Keyboard Club?
No.
Really, it was uptown on Park Street, so it was right between. It was just off of Montana, and we go in there for a cold one on St. Patty's Day, and all of a sudden one of our classmates stumbles in. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's Steve. And then, a few minutes later, more and more of our classmates stumble in. And before you know it, just about everybody from our high school class was there. So it was a really cool reunion from the 3 hours before when we got out of the high school. We were juniors in high school.
I remember looking at that because I went to junior high, which was close to our high school, and the people would get out of school early at the high school to go drinking on St. Patty's Day. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying I don't think we did it in my grade. No, well, definitely not in junior high. We went to the VU because there's fewer parents in there.
I don't think our parents were legal drinking age.
That is too funny. What I want, so I'm pushing this 92.5 KAAR.com, and you can listen to Tommy O, and we'll get him to get the Beef Olay song somewhere here. We're going to do this for sure. And then download that app. It's just, what is the app called?
Just Car FM app.
KAAR FM. That's an app. It's kick-ass. You can listen to Tommy's show. Anything else? Any other websites that you need people to go to see anything or hear anything? Anything that, I don't care if I get in trouble, but just you download that app. Seriously, I want to hear from you. Leave in the comments too. And I want to make Tommy a regular here because he's so fun to talk to. So tell me in the comments on the Operator Podcast on Instagram or Mikuya, MCHOOYAH, Mikuya, and I'll read them and try to be nice. I will check Twitter. It's Mikuya, but some of you fuckers get mean.
They are mean on Twitter.
Twitter's a different animal. But now, in their defense, the mean fuckers are funny. I like to the point where I've direct messaged people and talked to them, and they're just funny. Like it's one of those things. That's what they call trolling. You're just fishing. I'm fishing, and they're just doing it because you're never going to answer. Once you answer, it's actually kind of fun. I never block anyone though. I mute them because they're just screaming at the ceiling that their mother will hear them, and stuff like that. But I want to make it regular, so I want to hear what people want to talk about with Tom. We didn't get any political. We talked a little bit about Hades, to touch about the subways, but I didn't even mention how shitty DC really is. We can get into that next time if you want to.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool. All right. That's about it with Tommy right now. I really appreciate you coming here, Tom.
Hey, I love being on, man. It's good, talking to you, even if it's over a damn Zoom.
Great catching up.
Even if it's on the Instagrams.
Well, we're not seeing Butthole on RJO Apparel, so if you need to potentially see a butthole, go to RJO Apparel. That's also one too. We got some kick-ass new shirts. They're very comfortable, by the way. I got to send you some of the. Tommy? Have you seen my new thing is making like the keep it simple, master the basics. So I have my new one with the fire like this. It's just a dude carrying a bazooka. Really comfortable. I changed up the material, so they're really good. Anyway, I'm plugging my own shit. But Tommy, I will talk to you very, very soon.
Outstanding.
I love you, buddy.
Look forward to it.
Well, that was nothing but a barrel of monkeys. A lot of fun talking to Tommy. Always is. I never know where it's going to go. We ended up talking about, for some reason, the We Are the World thing. That's a really good documentary, though. Do check it out. But I want to get back up there because we sort of introduced, and we probably mentioned like the Animal House and Bruce and the Night Owl before, but the characters that were there mostly are still up there. So what I was thinking, and I want to get your opinion on this, thinking about getting a traveling studio and then doing a few interviews with the guys at the Wise River Club that Tim Montana and Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top own, and it's just a cool place. Would you show up if I went there? It's a hike. You got to, I don't fly into Butte because only one airline goes in there, and I don't fly them. But I do fly into Bozeman or Missoula, and it's sort of in the middle there somewhere. But Wise River is awesome. Like right off the Big Hole River, the Wise River, and then really cool people. The food's outstanding. The staff there is great. Kyle Reif's there. That's worth going to. But if we did like a live podcast with an audience, tell me if you'd show up. And even if you don't, I'm probably still going to do it. But I'd like to introduce some of you to my hometown of Butte, Montana. And if you haven't listened to Tim Montana, you should probably do that. I got to interview Tim Montana anyway. And if you go to Butte and you're not seriously injured by a glass bottle in a bar fight, you're never out of the fight.